Hey people, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mary, and today we're going to be talking about the dark side of having psychic gifts. So, in the world that we live in today, there's a lot of hype around being psychic or having the ability to connect people with the other side and having spiritual gifts. And this is something that I've touched on a little bit on my channel before, but it's something that I kind of want to get a little bit deeper into today, which is the dark side of having these experiences. I think with all the hype out there, it makes it seem like everything is just kind of rainbows and butterflies when you have these experiences, and they can, in fact, be really difficult on the person who has the experience. It can be really isolating and lonely and terrifying. And I think it's important to talk about that. Being someone who has dealt with having spiritual gifts, obviously, my entire life, there have been multiple times through my life where they have caused me a lot of difficulty, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, or all of the above. And the older I get, the more intense it seems that my gifts get. And the more of a toll it feels like they take on my mental and emotional health, especially. Being this sensitive in a world that is not made for being sensitive feels like existing is a full-time job. I walk into a room and I feel everything everyone is feeling in that room. And it's taken a lot for me to learn how to kind of block out some of it, but I can't block out all of it. And when I was younger, I would use anxiety to kind of block out the noise. If my brain just got going really loud, then I couldn't hear everything else as much. And that doesn't really work anymore. Now it's just anxiety and that, and then it just makes the anxiety worse. So it's a really, it can be really intense when you walk into a room and you feel somebody that you know is going to pass, or you feel something that someone's not talking about, but you know it's there. And it can be a lot. Just in like feeling how these things come about, or even if you have a vision, sometimes that can be absolutely terrifying. You'll get woken up in the middle of the night by spirits passing through, and learning how to kind of put up boundaries around these things, learning how to treat your body to be able to handle these things better, which is something that I've been really working on. I went through a few really traumatic experiences with my gifts, and a big part of me starting this channel is to help me heal and reconnect to that part of myself, because I started resenting it and I started hating it. And the main event that caused that, I haven't done a video on yet, but I do plan to do a video on that. And I don't want you guys to think that this is all like, woe is me, I have spiritual gifts and it's hard. Next, the next video that I'm putting out is going to be one on the light side, the beautiful parts of having spiritual gifts and being able to connect people with their past loved ones and all of that. But in the upcoming months, I do plan on releasing the video that kind of goes over the full extent of what I experienced and how I experienced it and all of that. But I'm just not quite ready to put that out there yet. And I don't know if I'm quite ready to fully go into it. Obviously, like, I'm in my 30s, so I've been doing this a long time. But growing up, I remember watching The Long Island Medium, or like those shows where psychics helped find murderers and stuff like that, but nobody ever talked about how hard it is being the person who's doing that. It's like like, say you walk into Christmas and you suddenly get the knowing that someone that you love very dearly is going to pass soon. And this is just like the actual experience of experiencing the gifts. It's not just that. It's also my body in and of itself is extremely sensitive to its environment, and it has always been this way, and it has just been getting worse. If you've been keeping up with my health journey on my channel, I've been kind of keeping you guys updated on that, but I got some news today that I am still processing and not thrilled about, not really sure what to do at this point, because I do everything I can for my health, but it's been a lot. And I want to be transparent about that. I want people who have these experiences to have a place to come to where it's like, we look at the reality of this, not just the rainbows and butterflies, not just the helping people, because yes, that's beautiful and that's a part of this, but there's also looking at the reality of what it is for you to experience these things. I have a lot of allergies, and it almost feels like just existing takes everything I have some days. And getting my mental health to a place where it's strong enough to handle a lot of the shit that I pick up on, that I feel when I'm around people, learning how to navigate knowing things about people that they don't want you to know in intimate relationships where they're not ready to talk about it yet, but you're already picking up on things. And how do you do that? And it's just, it can be so isolating and honestly depressing. And depression is something that I've dealt with a lot. I went through a really dark period. Um, it started coming out of college, but I was already going into it in college until I decided to leave my ex husband. And granted, my relationship wasn't healthy, and that was a big part of it. But my ex husband did know about my gifts, and he was supportive of that. And I'm very grateful for that. And that's something that I have to have in a relationship when I allow that into my life. But intimate relationships can be really challenging to navigate, and just relationships in general. But I went through a really dark period where I just kind of gave up on myself, on everything. I absolutely loathed myself. And this had been building up for a long time. I started smoking green stuff, if you catch my drift, to compensate for feeling everything. And it got to a point where I couldn't hold down a full-time job. I was so overwhelmed with everything that I was experiencing. And I'm naturally a very anxious, OCD, high functioning type of person. So there's also the perfectionism layer that's in there. And I think that's probably personal to me, but some people may also experience that. But I got to a point where I couldn't hold down a full time job, and I was really struggling with my mental health. But I was going to a therapist, and she didn't really understand this side of things. And I just felt like there was nobody that I could talk to that really understood what it's like to feel things this deeply, because it's not just me feeling what I'm feeling, it's me feeling everybody else's feelings and my own, and picking up on future events, past events, all of that. And luckily now I have a therapist that also has experiences like this, and that has been really, it's been really helpful. It's been really a beautiful relationship to form, just because I feel supported in a lot more ways than I ever have. But I'm still struggling, and I want to make that clear. I think I come on here and I act like I'm, doing all these things for my health, and I'm getting on top of things, and I do that a lot just to make myself think that I am, because I don't ever feel like I am. I've worked really hard to love myself, especially since that time when I was in the darkest place of my life. I was smoking a lot, and I was smoking hookahs. And if you don't know what those are, I was smoking like 10 of those a day with some green stuff mixed in and green stuff on the side. I mean, if I was awake, I was in the clouds. And especially when like I couldn't hold down a job anymore, I just wanted to numb out. I wanted to stop feeling everything. And I remember laying on the couch and just crying home alone, just screaming at God, asking why I feel everything, why the rest of the world doesn't seem to be this way. And it it's it was a really slow process pulling myself out of that place. And the only reason I'm not back there is because I use the fear of going back there to keep myself moving forward. But it gets hard sometimes. And during this time, I had a knowing about something and I ignored it. And this is something that I've done a lot in my past, because sometimes it gets too intense and I don't want to know. And I do know, but I don't want to acknowledge it. And then when it does come around, it's like I get bitch slapped and then I get overwhelmed and then my mental health tanks and it's like this whole cycle that happens over and over and over. And it's exhausting. And I don't want this to be like a pity party thing. That's not really what I'm getting at, but this is just me being honest about my experience. And I made this YouTube channel because I want to see what I can do with it that can be beautiful and helpful to people. And I don't know, make it feel like a gift, because a lot of days it doesn't feel like a gift. And I've been very disconnected from it. And I think a lot of the health issues that I'm experiencing at this point in my life are because I've just kind of like tried to numb it out. And the more I numb it, the louder it gets and the less I feel like myself. And it's dark. It's dark. And I'd had lots of experiences and stuff when I was a kid, but as a kid, these things aren't as deep. I mean, they still affected me as a kid. I still had mental health issues because of them as a kid, but I had parents that were taking care of me, so I didn't have to like completely function all the time. And having to function as a functioning adult to take care of myself, it has been a challenge. And I guess, I have come a long way from where I was in like 2016 to 2019. I just want people that are out there that have woo woo shit experiences and have knowings about people that they care about, or have experiences with spirits that have passed on and stuff like that, that you aren't alone in how isolating it can feel. And in a world where there's so much hype around it, which can be helpful sometimes because at least, people are open to it. I can't imagine having been this way back when, like, I don't know, like the witch hunts were going on, or before people thought that being psychic was cool. Like, you probably felt like there was something wrong with you. And I still feel like that sometimes, but I'm grateful that I am born in this time where it is celebrated in a lot of ways. But sometimes I don't feel like celebrating it. And I think that's really what this video comes down to. So I guess all I'm saying is, if you have gifts like I do and they're hard on you, you're not alone. And I get it. And my hope is to find a way to help people with them and use them in a beautiful way and reconnect to that part of myself, because I've lost it and I miss it, but I also am terrified of it. That's just kind of where things are right now. My physical health is also kind of up in the air right now. Everything's just kind of floating. And the thing is I know, like, I have a knowing about where my life is headed. But there are periods of time where it's like you have a knowing and then reality, it takes forever to catch up to it. And it makes you feel like you're losing your mind. And that's kind of where I've been for the past couple of years. And there have also been times where I have a knowing and I think there's going to be a ton of time, and then it just happens and it feels like I'm just drowning. And a lot of times when something traumatic like that happens, I get stuck up in that space and I can't come back down. So I'm just picking up so much more than I can actually function or process through. And that's something that I've been working out of for the past couple of years. And a big part of working out of it was me kind of just cutting it off completely. And it's been a journey, and I don't really know where I'm going right now. Um, I only know things as I'm supposed to know them, but I also have been questioning why I know a lot of the things that I do. I don't want this channel to be a pity party, but right now I'm kind of feeling like a pity party. And I guess we're just going to be okay with that for today. We're going to let ourselves just be sad and overwhelmed and terrified. because that's where I'm at right now. And my next video is going to be on the beautiful things that have come with my gifts. But if you are into the woo woo shit and maybe you have experiences like I do, or you're just interested in paranormal psychic stuff, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.